could get in a lot, but I mean, so I understand. I'm not taking any sides. I also don't think this is a fraud. Like, I think this is real, but I get where people's minds are going. I do, but I mean, listen, you have to have some balls. And I guess, listen, we have Jen Shah, who's probably going away for like, so people have balls, but I mean, I would be shitting a brick. Like, you fake something like this, you are in big trouble. Not to mention insurance fraud and all. Once you defraud insurance and get money for that, it's just like, listen. And before we move on, the two things I have to say, which I said with Kim on Patreon, the only thing I don't understand, but again, when you're in that and your mind is fucked, right? Because you think you're going to die. I don't know. Nobody could criticize because you don't know how you're going to react. I don't understand asking someone to leave your phone. That makes no sense to me. And I don't understand the gentleman who's robbing all your shit. That takes a minute. I don't care if it's 10 seconds. The police could be speeding down the street and bends down and puts your phone next to your gate. I do not understand that at all. It's like, all I want is my life. All I want is my children's life. I think if she said, like she says, like, please go, you've been here long enough, that is really smart. I don't think I would ever say that. I would be afraid to say that. It is kind of smart. It gets them out of your house. I don't know where your mind goes and then says, by the way, take all my Louis and Birkins and $1 million worth of stuff and jewelry. Just leave my phone. I mean, I understand you need to call 911, but if you have to run next door and bang on the door after what you just been through, do it, right?
Yeah, but what if they're still outside? What if they're still out there?
Oh my God,
you run with the kids, or I don't know. And people are very critical of PK coming from the airport over to Kyle's. That that Dorit went over to Kyle's the day after, left her kids with supposedly security and PK's assistant. A lot of people had a lot of questions about that. And let me just say, I don't want to be portrayed to our audience.
That is just, again, to me, it is a little. All right, I'm trying to keep it positive too. Bring the kids, have them play upstairs. It's a little, I could see that. Listen, I don't have kids. I don't have that gene. I feel for nobody. I'm a horrible human being. But even I could say, like, I see where people are going with that. Like, you now don't want to leave your kid's side forever and ever. You're like afraid to even go to the bathroom without your children after something like that happens. I don't know. What are you doing at Kyle's filming? It's just, I'm not criticizing. I think it's real. I'm not being negative. But again, I haven't had this happen to me and I can't imagine how I would react, but go ahead.
And let me just say this, whether it's Jen Shah, Erika, Dorit, if this goes both ways. So I was critical of people like on Twitter and TikTok questioning this, but if in fact Jen Shah was defrauding these people, if Erika knew, I mean, karma's real for them too. Like, I'm not saying this like, oh, fuck the audience. I'm saying this like, it works both ways. I mean, if there was anything amiss in this robbery, I think it was so genuine. Like, I just, as a mom, was like, oh my God, I can't even imagine. But it works both ways. Karma's a bitch to them too. Like, if they're lying, or if EJ knows a lot more, I mean, that's going to come back to her in a huge way.
Yes. And by the way, now we have other issues. We have two other issues which have arisen in our first scene. First of all, now Dorit on Watch What Happens said, Lisa Vanderpump never reached out. Miss Vanderpump has come forward with receipts, and she's like, I did reach out after the home invasion, and here's the text. So Miss Vanderpump has provided a text that it seems now, I mean, it's always hard with these texts because, like, just show us everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, they always block off. And so it's like, it seems like this is truly to PK, where Miss Vanderpump said, I'm sorry to hear about what happened, how horrible, and I'm glad you're okay. So Miss Vanderpump calls shit on Miss Kemsley's statement that she didn't reach out. And Miss Vanderpump has added that, by the way, when I fell off the horse and I was on crutches and I had my own problem, nobody reached out to me from the Kemsley households. Not necessarily the same thing, not taking sides. Falling off, but I get where Lisa's coming. I mean, being held at gunpoint is different than falling off a horse and being in a cast. So, but she's just putting that out there. So we have this now, and the main feud to come out. Well, the other second feud to come out of the premiere is that Lisa Rinna is not happy with watching back this scene that she wasn't in and seeing Sutton say, you know, my type is a little different than Erika's. Like, I have my own money. I'm going for character. I don't need to date someone for money. Miss Rinna has said, you know, well, that's really convenient because basically all your money is from your ex-husband. That is how you have more money than God. And Sutton's like, come on, we were together since high school. That's not exactly the same thing as like a 28-year-old waitress who went home with, you know, the Aaron Brockovich lawyer. And yeah, and Rinna's like, Rinna, listen, does Rinna let anything go online? Rinna's like, okay, well, I don't see that. I think I hit a nerve. Someone's a little sensitive, and I think Sutton has just bowed out of the fight. You love Rinna. Look at you. You're laughing. You love Rinna.
I do. I adore Rinna.
You and Kim D need to get together. She doesn't like Sutton, but Kim isn't focusing on the show. She loves, listen, everyone has their own opinions. That's what I love. And I don't just agree with Kim. Trust me, I smack her around. She loves Rinna and she loves EJ. She, like you, she said, well, I don't know who this Crystal person is, but I have no use for her. Those were Kim's exact words. And you know what is hard this season too, before we go on? We have, guess what? We have 10 people, guys, 10. We have Kyle, I'm counting on my fingers, Kyle, EJ, Rinna, Garcelle, Sutton, Dorit,
Crystal,
Kathy Hilton,
the new chick,
Diana Jenkins, and 10, Sherry Zampino, Will Smith's ex, who's coming on as a friend from Garcelle. If everyone goes back and rewinds this and counts 10, I think people, you've got to cut somebody after this year.
Like, this is what I love about Beverly Hills and why it is number one ahead of everyone, you know, by 2 laps. It's because I actually love everybody. I think Garcelle brings it. I think Sutton brings it. I do think Crystal has the potential to bring it. I love all of them. They're all rich. They're glamorous. They know how to play the game. You know, I mean, they're so good. And you know what's wild is, as much as we fell in love with Kathy last season, I didn't even miss Kathy. Like, on this, I'm like, we don't even need Kathy. Like, there is so much going on, you know?
Kathy ain't coming for a very long time because that's when she was holding out for her contract. So, but yes. So yes and yes, there is this feud now between Rinna and, listen, we're seeing where this is going to fall. It's going to be Garcelle and Sutton and Crystal. Yep. And listen, we have the Force 5 squad, whatever it's called. Now we have a fired woman who apparently the world thinks is behind all the home invasions. We don't even need to mention her name, but right. Like Dorit